Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, I want to talk about several different technical indicators and chart formations that show that Bitcoin may be finally setting some kind of bottom and looking to set a reversal in motion down here at support around $3,000 to $3,200. We have a lot of different technicals to look at in today's video. We're going to be looking at the shorts chart, we're going to be looking at some oscillators, we're going to be looking at some chart formations, we're going to be doing a lot of things in today's video. So before we get into today's video, if you enjoyed today's video, I think I said video about 7 times, definitely consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so you'll be updated every time a new video goes live. So without much further ado, let's finally go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading at around $3,500 on Coinbase, which is a very, very nice price compared to where it was trading just a couple of days ago, down here around $3,200. A little bit of an uptick, nothing major, nothing significant just yet, although we may be seeing some more bullish price action come in over the next couple of days and on into the next week or so. So we're going to be talking about that. But I do want to talk about a lot of different chart formations in today's video. I'm not going to get to them right now because I want to do the crypto market recap as always. But after we do that, I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm discussing here. So if we go ahead and give CoinMarketCap a little refresh here, what we're going to see is that across all exchanges, Bitcoin is trading just a little over $3,500. I remember when I first got into the cryptocurrency space and Bitcoin was just a little bit below that, Bitcoin was trading at $2,800, and I thought that was an insanely high price. And now we're trading at $3,500, and everybody's freaking out because it's such a low price. It's funny how you can have the exact same price, and people are either happy about it or upset about it. I remember the first time we went to $10,000, everybody was very happy, because, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's worth $10,000. And then we went back to $10,000 about 2 months later, and for some reason, everybody got upset about it. I don't understand. It's the same price. I don't get it. People are weird anyway. Anyway, Bitcoin's trading up around 0.5% over the last 24 hours. Nothing major, although we did see a more green day just yesterday. And actually, Bitcoin's kind of in the minority here for the top 10. XRP, Ethereum, Stellar, of course, Tether, and also, of course, Bitcoin Cash are in the red today. Bitcoin Cash is down 2%. That's one of the biggest losers here in the top 10 besides Litecoin. Litecoin trading at $25. Guys, that is an insanely low price on Litecoin. That's ridiculous. Now, you don't just go buying into markets because the price is low, but that is an absurd valuation. The first cryptocurrency I ever bought, I've told you guys this before, the first crypto I ever bought, I bought a quarter share of Litecoin at $41.02 back over here sometime in 2017. I forget exactly what the day was, but that was the first cryptocurrency that I bought. Of course, I bought a lot more after that, but that was just so I could figure out how the whole cryptocurrency ecosystem worked. I've been growing as a trader and an analyst from there. But the fact of the matter is I've never personally seen Litecoin this low, so that's definitely something that I'm probably going to be getting in on. I'm going to really start dollar cost averaging starting today, actually, because of how low we are. Like I've said before, just because the markets are low does not mean that you go and get into the market because you think the bottom is in. But one thing that you can do when the markets are very low and when you think that they will rebound is go ahead and start dollar cost averaging in, which is like every Friday, for example. Friday's a good day to do it, so I might wait till Friday before I start this. But every Friday, for example, on average, prices are lowest on Friday, and I think Wednesday. I forget exactly what day it is. I'll have to check in on that before I start. But basically what dollar cost averaging is every single day of every single week you put in, say, $100. So you might put in $100 this day, and then 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 this day. And of course, you're buying really high up here, but when you buy down here, you kind of take the average price of all your Litecoin, and you actually, it's almost like you're buying at $40 when you bought at $60 and at $20, and then it averages out. So that's basically what dollar cost averaging is. It's a good way of getting in on some positions when you aren't totally sure of where the bottom is, and that's probably what I'm going to be getting in on and doing now that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets are so very low. And I do think that we're close to a semi-permanent bottom, if not an actual permanent bottom for this bear market. Anyway, continuing on with the crypto market recap, let's go ahead and sort by change over the last 24 hours here, and we do see that there are 3 double-digit gainers, DEX being up over 25%, Mithril and MadeSafeCoin being up over 10% respectively. Not a great day for the rest of the market. We do still see some green, but we see a little bit more red than green. We don't have any double-digit losers. Tezos is the biggest loser today. That is kind of sad. I feel bad for calling Tezos a loser, but if you didn't want to be called a loser, then perhaps you shouldn't have lost so much. Anyway, I believe that's all we want to discuss on CoinMarketCap. Let's go ahead and see. I don't really have anything to talk about Bitcoin dominance today because Bitcoin dominance has been moving sideways for the last couple of months. Interesting development. Surprising that the altcoins haven't lost even more valuation, to be totally honest. But at the same time, Sometimes that kind of happens when you get close to the end of a bear market. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what I wanted to talk about as the main point of today's video, which are some of these signs of reversal that we've been looking at for Bitcoin and some of these signals that Bitcoin may finally be setting a bottom in. Let's go ahead and talk about that. The first and most obvious one that I want to discuss is RSI. You guys know I'm a big fan of the RSI, so I'm going to go ahead and close my MACD down here a little bit. I'm going to close my RSI, or my Stoke RSI down here a little bit, and just look at the RSI here for a second. Now, I want you guys to look at this chart right now, and if you guys are less experienced technical analysts, that if you haven't been in the market for very long, if you're just starting to learn technical analysis, but you do know what bullish RSI divergence is, take a look at this chart and see if you can see it. So this is what we're looking at right here. This right here, what we see over the last couple of weeks is that Bitcoin has been setting lower lows. We see that there was a low right here, and we see that there was a low right here just recently. And what that means is that we have a low, and then we have a lower low. So what does that mean? Well, that doesn't really mean a whole lot on its own, but when you look at the RSI, it does mean something, because what we've seen over the last couple of weeks on RSI is that RSI has been setting higher lows. And when you have that kind of divergence in between that divergence and that dissonance in between the RSI's lows and the chart's lows, that's called bullish RSI divergence, and that is almost always, and I do mean almost always, is normally a very, very strong indicator, normally a very accurate and strong indicator. Normally, that means that there is some bullishness coming. Normally, that means that there's some kind of bullish reversal coming, and normally, especially if it's on the daily chart, it normally indicates that there's some kind of major, and I do mean major bullish movement coming. Now, I'm not saying where the price target is for Bitcoin yet. I'll get into where I think Bitcoin might be going over the next couple of weeks in just a little while. I'm not going to get into that yet, but my point is here, this bullish RSI divergence on the daily chart, no less, one of the most important time frames when you're doing technical analysis is the daily chart. The fact that we have lower lows here on the chart and higher lows on the RSI indicates bullish RSI divergence, which is a very important thing. And also, by the way, it's not only on the daily chart, it's also on the 4-hourly chart, because if we zoom out here, we can see that Bitcoin set a low back over here, right over here at the end of November, and then more recently it set another low. In fact, those are the same lows that we were looking at on the daily chart. We see that this low right here was the low for Bitcoin on the daily chart, and this was the lower low. Well, we see on the 4-hourly chart that it looks the same, and we also have bullish RSI divergence because the lows in the RSI are getting higher rather than getting lower along with the price action, which might be neutral or slightly bearish. But what we see right now is that we see bullish RSI divergence, and that is typically a very good thing. That's typically a very strong thing. And also the fact that it's showing up on the 4-hourly and on the daily chart indicates that we're probably going to see some more bullishness coming into the market. Now, why else am I bullish? Normally I don't do technical analysis, period, based off of only one set of technical indicators or one chart formation or just bullish RSI divergence. So what else are we looking at here? Why else might Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets be turning bullish? What else can we look at here? Well, the next thing that we can obviously look at is the MACD. Over the last couple of days, MACD came down here, the MACD line, this line right here, the one that was on the bottom over here, came down and bounced off of what's known as the signal line. And when the MACD line, this line down here, gets above the signal line, this line up here, then what that means is that you've seen a bullish MACD cross, which is, of course, as the name implies, bullish. And that typically does indicate that there's going to be some bullish momentum coming out of the chart over the next couple of days. But what we've seen here recently is that the MACD line curved down here and bounced off of the signal line. Now, that's a very interesting development, and it's very reminiscent of something I've seen in the chart before. So let's go back over here and look at this period in the market. Right over here when Bitcoin had bottomed out around $5,750 back over here in June of 2018. We saw Bitcoin come up here, and the MACD actually did the exact same thing as it just did now. The MACD line was running up. It bounced off of the signal line right here. You see how it came down here and it bounced off the signal line? Right there, and then it continued going even higher. And that was kind of a rejection of the bears. It kind of signaled that, okay, well, the bears tried to push the MACD bearish, but they couldn't do it, and the bulls got control back, and they started moving Bitcoin higher. And in fact, what followed was about the most bullish week and a half of all of 2018. Now, of course, we saw some bullishness back over here, but this right here, for a long time, for the majority of this little move here in the late part of July 2018, a lot of people, including myself, saw potential of a new bull market forming. So what I'm saying is not that this little bounce off of the MACD is going to start a new bull market. I'm not saying that in any stretch of the imagination, but what I am saying is that it does look good for Bitcoin, and I do like to see that kind of chart formation repeat itself, because the last time it did that, it was actually rather good for Bitcoin. Now, whether that's corollary or causal is a completely different argument. My point being here is that it does look good for Bitcoin, and the fact is also that the MACD line is above the signal line, which is bullish, and we are moving back up towards the 0 level on the histogram. All very bullish things for the MACD. What else do we have to look at here? Well, one other thing I like to look at is the Heikin-Ashi. And you guys know I'm a big fan of the Heikin-Ashi. If you check the link in the description and go to the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy page, you can see that there's a video or two on Heikin-Ashi and on candlestick formations, and there's going to be more videos on candlesticks in the course in the future. But for right now, there's a couple videos on candlesticks, and one of them dedicated to Heikin-Ashi. And it's a very, very powerful indicator. It's a very, very powerful type of candlestick, I should say, that I do really like using because it normally gives you very strong signals about reversals, especially when the market is in an uptrend, downtrend formation rather than just trading sideways like we had up here. When the market's trading sideways up here, Heikin-Ashi is a little less useful. But when you're looking at markets that are consistently in uptrends and downtrends like they were over here, Heikin-Ashi is very, very useful. And that's just the kind of candlestick that we're looking at here. It's a slightly different kind of candlestick. It's not a pure price action chart. There's some calculations that go into how these candlesticks are made. But essentially what we look for here is the change of color from green to red or from red to green right over here, for example, right over here, and right over here. And you notice that those changes in color normally happen at the top of rallies or at the bottom of downtrends and do normally signal some kind of reversal. And over the last couple of days, we've seen a bullish cross, not really a bullish cross, but a bullish shift from the Heikin-Ashi being red to the Heikin-Ashi being green. And you might say, well, Jeb, wait a second, that happened just a little while ago over here, and that didn't really mean a whole lot. Well, you're right, but also remember that this period in the market right over here represented the first leg of that bullish RSI divergence. That bullish RSI divergence had not formed yet, and Bitcoin had not pulled all the way back down to what I believe to be a very strong level of support around $3,000, so we hadn't set a bottom just yet. It does look to me, based on all the technicals that I've looked at and a couple of other things I don't have time to get to in today's video, that Bitcoin is looking bullish and that we'll probably see a little bit of bullish price action come here over the next 24, 48 hours, over the next week or so. It may even take a couple of weeks to start moving in the right direction. If it does, then the bullish RSI divergence and some of the things I talked about here are going to be obsolete. But the overall sentiment in the market seems to be shifting gradually from bearish slightly more towards bullish. Partially because the bears have sold most of their cryptocurrency. I mean, they don't have a whole lot more to sell, which is why the shorts have been skyrocketing. A lot of this bearish price action is actually coming from people shorting the market, in my opinion, which you can see on this chart right here. The shorts are going down and the longs are actually rising, if I do remember correctly. Okay, well, they're trading sideways, but they were rising a couple days ago. A lot of what we've seen is that the bears have been driving the price action for so long, they've been driving the market for so long, and normally when you see that happen, which is what RSI is designed to tell you, normally when you see the market get driven that quickly by one of the factions, either the bulls or the bears, typically the other faction is going to take the reins back for a little while and start moving the market in their direction. And it's been a while since the bulls have been in control, and I do think the bulls are definitely the ones that are going to be getting the momentum back and getting the initiative back on into the next month or so, and it's probably going to start in the next week or so based on all the technicals I've shown you guys. Now, one thing I want to point out here is that a lot of people, they like to criticize me when something happens, and I don't care, guys. I really don't care. It's actually kind of funny reading your criticism, but if it's constructive, then I take it. If it's not constructive, then I laugh at you and I use your insults on other people. But my point here is that some people will say, okay, well, Jeb was wrong because it went down here to $3,000. Well, the point I want to make here is that if Bitcoin does pull back to 3K or even down to like 2,400 or 2,500, 2,800, whatever, my point here remains that I believe Bitcoin is probably somewhere close to a semi-permanent bottom. If not a permanent bottom, it's still too early to tell because we haven't been down here long enough. But I do think Bitcoin has a very strong level of support at $3,000, which it, by the way, hasn't even had to go down and test yet. It's been sitting up here above $3,000, and it hasn't needed to go down there because the bulls have managed to give us a bounce here off of $3,200 and the weekly 200 simple moving average is giving us support right now. There's a lot of different technicals saying that we're probably going to see some kind of bullishness come in over the next couple of days and on into the next week. So I want to hear your opinions in the comment section down below. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think Bitcoin has finally found some Excuse me, do you think Bitcoin has finally found some kind of bottom down here around $3,200? And do you think it's going to start moving up from here in accordance with all the technicals that I showed you in today's video? Or do you think it's going to retrace again, pull back down to $3,000 and maybe even lower and continue this downtrend that we've been in over the last month or so? I'm interested, as always, to hear your opinions in the comment section down below. That is basically going to do it for this video, guys. If you're interested in learning how to do technical analysis and learning how to manipulate charts and use charts and read charts, as well as a lot of the people that you see on YouTube, I'm not including myself in this, but a lot of the people that you see that are amazing technical analysts, if you want to learn how to do technical analysis in general, I do highly recommend the course I made, the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Guys, I poured my heart and soul into that. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and it really does make my day when I see some people join the course, and it really also does make my day when I see dozens and hundreds of people tell me that they've gotten a lot of value out of the course, and they've really, really enjoyed the course. You can see all of their comments after you join in the comment section down below each and every video. We've had a lot of amazing feedback. We haven't had a single complaint and not a single refund, despite what I consider to be a very fair refund policy, which is rather surprising to me, but honestly, I guess that just speaks to the quality of the content in there. Anyway, guys, that is basically going to do it for this video. If you're interested in jumping in CT2A, you can check what we have to offer with the first link in the description. But like I said, that's basically going to do it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy the video, definitely consider dropping a like. It helps out the channel. Anyway, that is actually going to do it for this video, guys. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.